My name's Sean Norris. I'm the leader of Side Anglican Church, which is an offshoot of New Life Anglican Church here in Pittsburgh. We're in the south side of Pittsburgh, which is kind of the party neighborhood of the city. It's a place where people come to forget their problems and to essentially try to just have a good time and not deal with the pain that they might have. And we have a real desire to meet people where they are and to meet them really through the arts. It's something also that's very valued here in this neighborhood. So we want to be ambassadors of love and forgiveness to the south side, and specifically through the arts.
So we had this idea of having an art exhibit called Hear Me, a photo project where we take photos of the primary art form on the south side, which is tattoos, and we would record the story behind it as a way of validating and giving integrity to the people who live and work here in this community.
So every Friday for 5 months we went out onto the main drag of the south side called Carson Street, and we tried to meet everybody we could who had a tattoo. And we wanted to take pictures of their tattoos, get their stories, write it down so that we could include them in the exhibit, hopefully. And one of the things we discovered was that many of the tattoos conveyed some aspect of brokenness, some sort of pain that they were remembering in the tattoo. They didn't feel heard, and it was a way of expressing themselves. And that's why Kate came up with the idea of calling it Hear Me. We wanted to hear them. And so this was a way that they could convey their brokenness, and we wanted to give voice to that.
One day our group was out taking photos, and we ran into a woman named Tiffany. And her story was a beautiful example of how a tattoo became a way to love herself through a very challenging and life-threatening and shameful experience. This is her story.
I was born with scoliosis, and the reason I got this tattoo was to cover up scars. My last surgery was the worst. It was about 14 and a half hours long, and I didn't make it on my bed. I died for about 10 minutes, and they brought me back. They told me I'd be in a wheelchair, and I pushed myself to get better. And now everything's good, and that's the reason why I got it covered, because scars to me, I know they're something that's a part of me, but it affects me in certain ways for people to judge and be like, oh, what happened to you? But if you have any of that or any kind of problems and you want to cover it up, just go cover it up.
So Tiffany's story is just one of many examples of people using tattoos in order to cope with depression or anxiety, or to remember a loved one, or just for fun. But one on a bigger scale, on the south side, we found a coffee shop that used to be a tattoo shop. And it was closed down because one of the artists there had a very serious heroin addiction. And now it's become a coffee shop, and I wanted to do the Hear Me photo exhibit there as a way of saying, in God's redemption, there are 50-second chances and 100-second chances. His forgiveness never runs dry. So I went to one of the artists that used to work at that tattoo shop and asked him how he would feel if I had a photo exhibit of tattoos in the place where he used to work, and this painful experience happened, and it was public, and it was uncomfortable. And he said that that would be healing, not only for him, but for the entire south side.
So here we are setting up this exhibit in a place that is known in the south side for being shut down because of drug addiction. An old tattoo parlor just a few years ago, and it's a sign of shame really for the neighborhood. But we're here setting up this exhibit that's celebrating tattoos, saying that your stories are worth hearing. They're commemorating your pain, something that was important to you, something that might symbolize your brokenness. In a lot of cases it did. And we're saying that you're worth hearing, that we want you to be seen and heard and to be known and to be loved and to receive forgiveness. And there's a real stark contrast between this place that was once a symbol of shame is now becoming a symbol of redemption in the neighborhood.
As the curator of the exhibit, I was thrilled with the way the opening night turned out. And it continues to be seen in Delaney's coffee shop throughout the holidays. And I was thrilled that people were coming to see themselves on the wall. I could tell that they felt seen and heard and addressed. That we were giving voice to something that mattered to them. And we want to continue doing things like this through music, through visual art, to convey radical love and forgiveness.
When I was about 14, it came back.